All right, so let's get going. My name is Frank Hanley. This is the Feeling Fit for FSHD or with FSHD program. Um, we meet every Tuesday, or I'm sorry, we meet on the second and fourth Thursdays every month. This session is being recorded, so you can circle back and watch it again later if you miss something. This is the start of our fourth year. We started this program back in 2022. It was kind of the brainchild of myself and June, and we've been rather successful with this, bringing yoga and Tai Chi and Qigong and other types of exercise, aquatic exercise, walking, a variety of exercise programs to the FSHD community. It's part of the Gathering Place. If you're not familiar with the Gathering Place, it's a series of programs that this FSHD Society offers. Feeling Fit is one. There's the Women Wellness Group. There's a Young Professionals Group. There's an Early Onset Group. And I think there's just starting up a Spirituality Group. So you should check the website, the Gathering Place page on the FSHD Society website. There's a lot of different programs that we offer to support the FSHD community. This is specific to exercise. Like I said, we do yoga and such. My quick story is I've been with the society since 2019. I was fumbling around. I was living in Maryland and I was fumbling around online. And I stumbled across the FSHD Society's website. I got on there, excuse me, there was a meeting in Philadelphia that weekend. So I signed up and drove up to Philadelphia and met with folks. That was the first time I ever spoke with other people that had FSH. I was 60. It was a very emotional day, to say the least. So I started, I subsequently moved to South Carolina in the middle of 2019. And there was no chapter in South Carolina. So I met with the community leaders and the FSHD Society, and we launched the South Carolina chapter in February of 2020, just in time for COVID. So we did a lot of our early meetings virtually. And I moved after a couple of years ago, I moved to North Carolina. And there's no, I'm on the East Coast, I'm in Wilmington area. The chapter there is out in Raleigh-Durham area. It's a 4-hour drive on a good day. So I'm kind of orphaned right now, but I stay active with the society virtually. So the other side of it is I started doing Kung Fu, practicing Kung Fu years ago before I ever knew about FSH. And through the practice, I learned Qigong, which is a lot of breathing, and Tai Chi, which is the nice slow movements. And I've modified a lot of the things that I've learned over the years to still be able to practice with FSH. So, and I bring that to this community. It helps me. And I hope through these sessions that some things I might show you will help you with your fight against FSH also. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. My disclaimer for these sessions is I'm a patient. I'm not a medical provider. I'm an FSHD patient, and I bring these practices to the community. If you're not sure, if you want to do any of this, can check with the medical provider. You're welcome to just follow along if you like. And like I said, these are recorded, so you could circle back some other time and watch these again. Actually, all these sessions, I've seen for a couple of them where there were glitches, are on the FSHD Society's YouTube channel. So you could find them there. If you just get into YouTube and put in FSHD Society, you will find the FSHD Society's webpage. Okay, so today I threatened / promised to talk about fall prevention. It's Fall Prevention Month this month, so I'm going to go through some fall prevention, some practices for fall prevention, and also we'll chat a bit about falling why we fall and how we fall, and ways we can change our environment to help us to be a little more foolproof, if you will. So I'm going to talk about why we fall and preventing falls. I'm going to do an exercise for balance and stepping, and I'm going to do another exercise which is for mindfulness and awareness. And then we will break at the end for some questions, or if other people have some stories they want to share, you'd be welcome to join in and do that. So if at any time you have a question, if you want to stick it in the chat or raise your hand. I'm not very good about seeing the raise hand thing. So if you wave to me, that would be okay, or put your question in the chat. That would be fine too. So any questions before we start? Everybody good? Give me a thumbs up. I got most people have their video on, so that's cool. So our hair's a little different down here, so my nose is running. So let me start with balance and stepping. We'll jump right in with that, and then we'll take a break and talk a little, and then we'll do a few more exercises. So if you're able to stand, great. These are stepping. So the idea here is, and I'm going to back up so you can see me fully. So please bear with me for a second. The idea here is when you walk, most times when we're walking, our weight is up here. So we're walking and our weight. So when you step, and if you're like me, I have a foot drop, and you hit something, you're already moving forward. So the tendency is you're going to fall forward. With the stepping that I'm going to go through today, what we're going to learn to do is keep our weight, keep our energy back as that front foot goes out, kind of like a bug with the antennas, feeling around in front before we actually put that foot down, and then we move our weight forward and bring that foot forward. So it's a lot safer to move. And this is, you wouldn't want to do it in the store. I mean, you could, but it'd take you forever to get around outside. But this is for mainly in the house, because that's where most of the falls occur. Most of the falls occur in the house because we're in the house most of the time. And also we're comfortable. We're in our own environment, and our guard is down. So we're not thinking, we're not paying attention to surroundings because of that comfort level being in the house. So that's why a lot of times we fall in the house more than anywhere else. So it's being in the house. And the example I use all the time is my neighbor was in her kitchen, and she was doing some dishes, and she had the dishwasher door open behind her and forgot it was open, and turned and fell and broke her hip. So, we don't want that to happen, because like the doctor told me, you fall, I'm going to be out for a year. If you think about, a fall, and if you injure something, if you break something, you might need surgery. So there's a surgery, there's a rehab, there's healing and PT and yada, yada, yada. So you could be out for a year because of that split second where you weren't paying attention. So if we're a little more mindful, and it's a term I'm going to use a lot, mindful and aware of, when we're going to move, we move with intent. We move very deliberately. We just don't move because I'm going to move. And a lot of that happens. Somebody calls you, hey, so-and-so, you turn around. I was walking into a store the other day, and a person was coming out, and they were talking to the person at the counter, and they were not paying attention. If I didn't say, watch out, they would have walked right into me, because they had too many things going on at once. They weren't watching what they were doing. So that's there. So let's get going with this. So I'm going to try to get the camera on my feet, because that's what's important. I'll talk. Can everyone hear me all right?
Yep. Sounds good.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so can't see my head, but you don't need to see.
We can see your feet.
Yep. Say again?
You can say we can see your feet when you're back there.
Okay, excellent. Okay. So what I'm going to do is stand like I am, where my feet are kind of underneath. They're not shouldered. I'm not spread out. Feet are comfortably underneath you. And what we do is we take our weight and we shift our weight. I'm going to shift it over to my right side. So all my weight is in my right leg, and my left leg is very light. My left leg is empty. We call this empty leg. I can take it up off the floor. I can tap it, step back into the step. I can kind of have that leg empty on the floor, and then we put our foot back down again, and then our weight goes back to 50-50. So weight comes up on the left side, goes over into the right leg. My left leg, I can bring that heel up, and I'm using my hands to kind of determine where my energy is. So my right side is down hard. I'm pushing my right foot into the floor, and my left leg is empty. I'm raising it. Now I'm going to move weight up, and I'm going to come back to 50-50. And then I'm going to push both feet into the floor. So the idea for most of this is to keep your weight, keep your energy down here. Okay. Like I said earlier, when we walk, we have a tendency to walk with our energy up above. And if we hit something, that energy keeps moving forward, and that's where we fall. If we're deliberately keeping our energy down low, our weight down low, I'm moving that foot, my weight's back here. If I feel something or I hit something, my weight's back here, I'm not going to fall. I'm not even going to lose my balance. And we'll talk about losing your balance in a minute. So let's do a couple of these. So inhale, I like to inhale, I like to tie inhaling and exhale. So if you want inhale and exhale, just do normal breathing, but breathe through your nose only. So if we inhale, shift that weight in and bring that foot up. And then exhale, and we go back down to 50-50. Again, I'm going right leg down, left leg up. I'm just moving my hand accordingly. All right, push that left leg into, or the right leg into the ground. Left leg is empty. You need to have a chair here for stability. That's cool. I don't have one. Doing this too long. Eventually, I'll need one. And we go back down. So do it on the right side. Shift right. Energy goes into the left leg. Right leg comes up. And then back down, back to 50-50. Push both feet into the floor. So this push should feel like if you're going to jump, that launch position, if you will. So I'm gonna launch. That's the push. I'm pushing my feet into the floor. All right. So my weight is way down below. All right. Very light on top. Okay. Shift the weight over to the left leg, right foot up. Just hold it. All right. This is the balance part of this exercise. Bring it up and hold it for 10 or 15 or 20 seconds. And now gently your weight back to 50-50 and push both feet to the floor. Left side, energy goes to the right. Left leg comes up. Hold it. And back to 50-50. So if you're standing and you're doing your dishes, you're doing housework, or you're doing chores, or you're whatever, and you can simply practice these while you're doing whatever else you want to be doing. Up and down. Right side up. Right side down. 50-50. Right side up. And right side down. So what we're doing here is we're engaging the brain with the body also. Normally we don't engage the brain. If I'm going to move, that signal goes, I'm thinking somewhere else, and my body's going this way. But here we're engaging, and we're very conscious of weight, leg, weight, leg. Right? So we're thinking about it. If you get to the point where you don't have to think that much about it, we can hold it. And if you have something to be stable with, even bring it up higher, bring the knee up. So that way you're really working on your balance here. You're going to want to try that next week. All right. But that's to get the balance part of this going. All right. Now, I'm sorry, I've got to keep walking back and forth because I have notes on my phone. And it's not because I'm a knucklehead. It's because I write these things down so I don't forget to tell you something that I think is important. So, all right. Okay, so the next thing to do is very similar. What we're going to do is we're going to bring the energy up, shift, and empty leg. We're going to take this leg and slide it out. And then we're going to bring the energy back over and back to 50-50. So now our feet are shoulder width with our body. This is called the Wu Ji stance. W-U, new word J-I. Wu Ji means empty stance, means we're just kind of standing. This is the opening stance for any Tai Chi form. So if you see a Tai Chi person doing Tai Chi, you'll see them open up. And then when we close, we do the similar. We shift the weight back into the right leg. Left leg comes up. We're going to move the leg in. And then go back to 50-50. So shift the weight over. Foot comes up. Slide the foot back in. And then we bring the weight back to 50-50. Push your feet into the ground. So if you see a Tai Chi person, they'll usually, hands will come up. That foot will come up. They'll slide out. And then their hands will sink. And then they'll start to flow. So this is the Wu Ji stance. So we're getting towards actually stepping here. Right? So we're going to bring that up again, left side up. Out. Move on to. Now we can bring the left side, or left leg back in again. Inhale, leg up. Shifts the leg in. Then back. All right. Now, if we want to actually get some movement in here, do it again. Inhale, shift the foot out. Exhale, sink your weight. And now switch. Shift your weight to the right side. Your weight to your left side. Right leg is empty. And then we bring it over and back. So now I moved from there to here. Right. Now let's move back. Weight goes in the left leg, right leg goes up, right leg goes out, sink down. And now bring the left leg over. Inhale, weight goes in the right leg, left leg up. Slide the left foot over. Down. Okay. So that's the Wu Ji. Now we can use that not just stepping side to side. We can do that stepping forward or back. So if you want to go with me, left leg empty, slide your foot forward. Keep your toe on the floor. All right, that's your feeler. Weight's on the back leg, weight's in the right leg. Left foot is empty. Slide that foot forward. Now put the foot down. Now bend your knee and move your weight forward. And now bring the other foot up. And now you're back to 50-50. So now we just took a step, a safe step. All right, our weight was at our feet. If I want to turn to go backwards, shift the weight into the leg. I'm going to go left side. Right? And if I want to go back, I can move that foot to the back, put the foot down, move the weight back, and then bring the right foot together. And now my weight's back to 50-50. All right, so again, my story with my neighbor. Okay. She just turned. And where was her weight when she turned? It was up high, hit that dryer door, and she was on the floor. Turn up, put that foot back. Ooh, I feel something back there. Right? Now, what I'm not talking about either is I'm not looking, which is the other thing that we should be doing, paying attention visually. Right? But if I'm able to look and turn and see something there, or if I'm preoccupied, that leg goes back, I hit something, I feel something back there, and I stop. Right? So that's simple stepping for fall prevention. Right? Keeping our weight low instead of high. Like I said, we're always walking. If we walk naturally the way we learn to walk, our weight is always up here. All right? Because that's just the way we are. That's just the way we learned. And this stepping keeps the weight down in our feet. And that step foot is a feeler now. It's not a step until I put my weight into it and move forward and bring the other foot forward. So it's moving around the house, like I said, particularly around the house, and moving in a safer pattern. Any questions so far? Everybody with me? Give me a thumbs up. Those of you who are have your video on. Okay, so let me just recap, right? Because I know I just did a lot. Okay. All right. So here we are, feet together. Shift the weight into the right side. Left foot comes up. Shift the weight back to the center. Now back down 50-50. And 50-50, push the feet to the floor. Again, that launch position. All right. My knees are bent a little. I'm pushing my feet to the floor. Energy comes up, left side. And then back down. Do it to the other side. Weight goes in your left leg, right foot comes up. Hold it. Again, this is the practice. You can either do this, back and forth, mimicking a stroll. All right, or you can hold it. And holding it again is push that plant foot, the foot with all the weight in it, push that into the floor. This leg is empty. You can move it around. If you want to practice putting it up high, give your hip a little workout. You lift that up and hold it up. Working on your balance. All right, keep a chair nearby for stability. I've been working with that one today. It's like the tightrope walker without a net. All right, inhale. My weight's in my left foot, my right foot is up. And exhale. Go back down again. Now inhale up. Slide left foot out to the Wuji stance. And sit. Inhale. It comes up, shift. Left foot is empty. Slide the foot in. And work the other side. Inhale. Left side is heavy. Right side is empty. Slide the foot out. Put it back to 50. Push it into the floor. And then inhale. Weight to the left. Right leg is empty. Put the foot back in. And sink. All right. Stepping forward. Inhale. Empty leg. Slide the foot out. Run. You don't have to go far. The further you go, the more you have to bend the back knee. All right. To keep the weight back there. If you want to practice that too, that way you can get it out. Put that foot down, flat on the floor. Bend your left knee and shift your weight forward. Not all of it, but you're moving in that direction. Weights now maybe 60-40, 60 in the front, 40 in the back. And shift the weight forward. Move that foot up. And now back. 50. So I'm taking a step back. Left leg is empty. Slide the foot back. Down. You got to bend your knees here. Okay. I'll keep your legs stiff. You won't be able to, you'll lose your balance. And then we shift our weight to the back leg as we bring the front foot back. Okay. Everybody good with that? All right.
Yeah.
There's one other thing I just wanted to mention there, and it just jumped right out of my head. So yeah, I will catch it later. Let me just think about it a second. Just one other thing with the stepping back part, and that's not what I was thinking of, but I'll mention this here. So we inhale, left leg is empty, slide that foot back. Now what I can do here is I can rotate my hips. So I'm facing on that angle. So like if I was turning around, I'm going to do it in kind of sections, right? Instead of just turning around and stepping, I'm going to slide the foot back, turn the hips. Now that's when my feet are now going this way, right? And if I do that one more time, I know it's kind of ridiculous to do it, but you see I'm going in the other direction. So it's like two half-quarter turns to go backwards. All right. So that's the fun stepping stuff that I have today. Anybody have any questions? Everybody good so far? Okay, I got thumbs up. All right. Thank you guys for keeping your cameras on and doing this with me. I really appreciate it. Normally I have crickets and blank screens. So it's good people are keeping their cameras on with me today. I appreciate it. All right. So the next part I want to talk about is being mindful. Mindfulness is a term that you hear a lot. And I've got a mindfulness practice that I like to do. I learned this last year at a conference. One of the presenters did it, and it just stuck with me and it resonated with me because what she was using it for, I'm using it something completely different. Okay, so what I want you to do is hold your thumb out in front of you, and then you could either have it on the side. So I want you to do is just focus on the tip of your thumb. Stare at that, just relax. You can even sit down, you don't have to stand. Just focus on the tip of your thumb. And if you're having trouble with that, then just turn so your fingernail is facing you and focus on the top of your fingernail. And just relax and look at that and focus on it for a couple of breaths. Okay. So now let's focus on the whole thumb, just your thumb. It's the only thing that you see is that thumb. Nothing else, just your thumb. Just your thumb. A couple of breaths. Okay, so now open your hand up so you've got like an L shape here. All right. So now focus just on this edge of your hand here. Focus on the edge. Couple of breaths. And now I'm looking at my computer, but behind that is a window. So the next thing I want you to do is just look at the next thing beyond that edge of your hand. What's the next thing? For me, that's my computer. But so what's the next thing beyond the edge of your hand? Just focus on whatever that happens to be. And then look beyond that. What's the next thing that you see? For me, it's the window outside. Just focus on that window, not what's behind the window, just focus on the window. And then the last part of this is to look beyond that. And now I'm looking outside at the tree in the front yard and the neighbor's driveway across the street. Okay, we went tip of the thumb, edge of the hand, one layer back, 2 layers back, 3 layers back. So why did we do this, Frank? Anyone have that question? Why did we do this? So you're driving somewhere, you're on the highway, and you have to pee, right? So you're pulling into the rest stop. Now, are you paying attention to anything else other than where's the bathroom, right? Park the car, looking for parking space. Where's the bathroom? I'm going to park the car. Then you get out. So you are all over the place, right? So you get out of the car and maybe you step in a hole, and maybe something else happens because your focus is all over the place, right? And we want to be mindful so that the thumb part is right here with me. The thumb is what's immediately around me. And then as we move out in circles, what's further out, what's further out, what's further out. So it's just developing an awareness of what's my immediate threat, if you will, and what's my long distance threat. So my immediate threat might be, I can't find a handicap spot, so I got to squeeze in the car next to me. Or I'm not in a handicap spot and there's a curb here. So that's my immediate thing. And then what's the next thing? Well, there's some kids playing over there throwing a ball. Is that going to be a problem? But there's a lady walking her dog and she's got one of them real long leashes. Maybe I'm going to fall over that. So you see what I'm saying? We've got to be mindful in layers as to an immediate threat versus other things that can be potentially cause me to have a story. Now, I'll give you another thing, because this is all our perception. We've got to kind of retrain the way we think. I was in Europe last month, and I was taking a train from Paris up to Amsterdam. And when I got out of the train, I had to get to the hotel, and it was raining. So here was me with my luggage and my wife in tow, and all I was looking at was the map on my phone and how far is it for me to get from here to the hotel, right? And I got there. It was easy, but it was just I was just right here all the time. And the next day we went for a walk, and I looked and I'm like, is that the train station? So I was totally oblivious to this beautiful building that I had walked out of, this historic train station in Amsterdam, because I was so focused right here. So again, it's we've got to train ourselves to what's the immediate, what's the next layer. So you're not always looking here, you're looking back and forth, like short and long distance radar, if you will, to kind of keep track of what could potentially be a threat out there. All right. Another example that I'd like to share with you is visualize if you're able to stand, fine. If you're not, just close your eyes and visualize you're standing at the kitchen sink and you're doing something. And you're doing something. And then somebody says to you, you hear somebody calls you from the back. And when you stepped up to the sink, everything was fine, right? Again, keep your eyes closed and just visualize. When you stepped up to the sink, everything was fine. You were aware you stepped up. There was nothing going on. Somebody calls you from behind, and you turn and you step, and what happens? We don't know, because we don't know what's behind us, right? Did we look behind us? We just talked about this. Did the dog sneak in behind me? Did something else sneak in behind me? Did I forget to close the dishwasher drawer? All these things can happen, right? So we want to train ourselves again. We move with intent. We move very deliberately, right? And again, our stepping exercises that we just did helps that. This is to just reinforce it. So stand back at your sink, close your eyes, and you're standing there and you're doing something at your sink, and somebody calls you from behind. All right. Now, stop right there. You're on a ladder. You're standing on a sink. You're standing on a ladder now. What do you do? All right. Are you going to take that step? I don't think so. Because why? I just changed the whole scenario on you. You're on a ladder. So always be on a ladder. All right. When you're working around the house, because that immediately makes you think, I better look before I step. All right. So that's just another thing way to think about it is just always be on a ladder when you're doing stuff, because that makes you check what's going on around you before you move. Okay. Anybody with any questions? All right. So practice that. The thumb thing is just the example of the layers, but practice that at home. I mean, you can be sitting and here's your thumb and here's your newspaper and there's the TV and there's the neighbor mowing their lawn outside. So what's going on in different layers. So we're able to focus. Another great analogy of it is if you're sitting in your car and it's raining out, you can focus on the raindrops on the windshield, or you look beyond that as to what's out on the road. So it's short. It depends on what you're focused on, and we want to keep that as if we're traveling or moving or thinking about moving. We want to keep that radar constantly going back and forth, not just this little sphere around me, because there might be, danger around the corner, if you will. Okay. Again, any questions? No? All right. So let's just stop from the exercises and stuff and talk about falling and preventing falling. And then we'll go back and we'll do another set of exercises just to review. I'll open up the floor to you guys, and then we can call it a day. All right. Good plan. All right.
Good plan.
So I've got a bunch of notes here about falling. So why do most falls, or why do many falls occur at home? because that's where we are most of the time. And we're comfortable and our guard is down. So that's why most of the time, many of the falls, they occur at home. Now for me, and I don't know about you guys, but I lose my balance for no apparent reason. I can just lose it in a blink because I have a weak core from the FSH. So for no apparent reason, I will lose my balance and have to grab onto something real quick. Usually my wife, and she'll be like, "What's the matter?" Right? Because I scare her when I do that because she thinks I'm going to take a nosedive and hit my head. The other thing that I see myself doing all the time when I'm going to walk, and I don't know if this happens with you folks either, is my brain says, take a step, and my leg does not move. It takes a while for my leg to get going sometimes. And I don't know if somebody explained it to me one time that it's got something to do with the disease, but I just, sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. So those are two kind of weird things that I notice from myself that the FSHD causes me to do is one, I lose my balance for no reason. And then the other one is I go to step or I can't just because I wear a brace on my leg. And sometimes my foot doesn't go where I want to either. So maybe it's got something to do with I'm wearing the brace. But anyway, so things that we can do to prevent falls, excuse me. Number one is clutter in the house. Keep the paths around your house, in the house, around the house, and clear and keep your steps clear. Wires, extension cords, lamp wires, computer wires, any kind of wires that you might have laying around. Be careful because we might trip over those. Carpets and rugs are one of my big tripping things because that little height going from a hardwood floor up to a carpet, I always end up stumbling. Even if I have my brace on, sometimes I stumble. Pets being in the way. I'm at my son's house. He has 3 huge dogs. I have to be constantly aware because they bang into me because they're being friendly, but they don't realize it, that it becomes a threat. Terrain is another thing. I live at the beach. I cannot walk in the sand. I cannot do it. It's really hard to walk in the sand anymore. Grass, stones, anywhere where the contour changes, the texture changes. When we moved into our house, they had a lot of that pine straw landscaping around. And over the years, it built up and built up and built up. It's really spongy. And I can't walk on it. I lose my balance because I put my foot down and the ground moves under me. I'm not used to that. So I was another thing. Uneven pavement is another thing. Shoes, wearing shoes that fit, wearing shoes that are comfortable. I always go out and look for shoes that are not heavy so my legs don't get tired. Flip-flops are a no-no in my book. I don't know if folks gave up on flip-flops a long time ago, but I stopped wearing those. Puddles in the house. You have an automatic ice thingy on your refrigerator door. One ice cube falls out and hits the floor, or a couple little chips fall out and hit the floor. A half hour later, it's a puddle of water. You got to be careful of things like that. Lighting, make sure there's proper lighting in the house. Your vision and your hearing. So I didn't talk a lot about vision, but are your glasses up to date? Have your vision checked. Not that it's thing, but make sure you're wearing your glasses at night if you get up to go to the bathroom, because you might not see things as well if it's dark in the house. I talked about my balance. And balance is another reason I fall. I thought I was going through a plate glass window once. I went out the back door, and I stepped out. I have a little step getting out from the back of the house onto the back porch, and I stepped down on the back porch, and I brought my other leg up, and I lost my balance, and I fell backwards, and I thought I was going right through that glass door. Unfortunately, I had my arms out wide enough where I caught the frame, but that was the thing. Who has a fear of falling? You have a fear of falling? Anyone? No, I'm the only one. I'm
I don't
afraid
know. I'm an FSHD caregiver thing. I'm afraid
Okay.
that my FSHDers are going to fall.
Okay.
Probably more than they are.
Right. Yeah. Falling becomes, but the one good thing about Kung Fu and martial arts was I learned many years ago how to fall.
Right.
So if you get thrown in a martial arts class, you have to be able to learn how to land, so you don't hurt yourself. So you kind of land with your arms or your legs first. So you don't land on your back. You kind of break the fall with your arms. So that has come in handy on multiple times. And also, when I feel myself falling, I get low real quick. I will get as low as I can to get my energy down low, and lower my center of gravity. Because again, if your weight is up here, you're going to fall far. If your weight is down here, you're not going to fall far, or you may not even fall. So again, it's a whole idea of keeping if you're moving, keep your weight waist high or lower, to help you prevent the falling. Um,
I
how
will
about people
say,
being arrogant? This is one that I thought of.
I was
People
gonna
being
say,
arrogant,
I was
right?
gonna,
Oh, or people's pride, or people's vanity. I'm not going to use a cane. I'm not going to use a walker. I look weak. Right. It's just people's mindset sometimes, as far as, not protecting themselves and having being arrogant. Oh, I'm not going to fall. I'm still strong. So that's another thing. It's not much talked about, but I think that's another reason why people fall, is because they don't accept the fact that they have they are susceptible to falling. Um, and the last one is that I have on my list here is fatigue. This disease drains the crap out of me. I don't know about you, but I get tired going up a flight of steps. It's a draining disease. It's mentally draining and it's physically draining. And I find that to be the most hard. You have to rise above it and stay on top of it. It'll just swallow you up, I think. That's just my other thing that I think of. It's just that you don't realize, and as it progresses, I don't know how folks are, but I'm lucky. I consider myself lucky. I have a mild case. I'm almost 70, and I'm still able to get around. Where I know, and you folks see also from meetings and things. There are friends of ours in their 20s, and they're in wheelchairs already. So I think I'm pretty lucky that I'm still mobile at my age. Um, and the other thing I just have here is heavy shoes, but I talked about that with the flip flops and stuff. So I just find, like I said, fatiguing. We were in Europe walking, and I just had to stay. My head hurt because of the mental energy I spent, with the radar and where am I going to fall, and where am I going to step, and just walking around, because it's a lot of cobblestones, and it's a lot of uneven pavement and narrow things where you've got to negotiate with other people to get through a doorway, that kind of stuff. So I mean, I don't, my legs don't go that well. I struggle going up a couple steps, never mind having to walk a mile. So and I'm sorry, I'm just trying to provide as much personal experience as I can for you guys, because whether you can resonate with what I'm talking about or not is great. So that's kind of the why we fall, or what can cause us to fall, and the what to do about it is, the first one is fall proof your home. And I like to use the analogy of, um, when, and I did it, but I didn't do it as severely as one of my coworkers years ago was having. I think I had at least one or two kids already, and one of my coworkers was having their first, and the baby was born, and they had come back to work, and I said, you know what, their wife was still in the hospital with the baby, and I said, well, what are you doing? And they said, well, I'm baby proofing the house. They're putting all the locks on the cabinets but the baby's not going to get into that stuff for about 6 months. But that's good that you're keeping yourself busy, because they just ran out and bought all the baby proofing junk, or they got it in the baby proofing package in their shower or whatever. So fall proofing, like baby proofing, is doing stuff around the house. Like I said earlier, clearing up the clutter, um, tacking down the carpets, keeping these steps clean, doing those kind of things, where you can make the house as fall proof as possible. Grab bars is another one that we talk about. Better make sure your railings are tight, and that kind of stuff. And at work also, I don't know where folks are still working or not, where you can make your workplace a little safer. Most workplaces, you have OSHA and things like that, where there's already rules and laws that to make a safe workplace. But for yourself, you might need a combination. And there's what's called, I don't know if you're aware of it or not, a reasonable accommodation as part of the ADA that employers are required to provide you with a reasonable accommodation. And that might be one of those stand-up desks or a special chair for your back or maybe putting your desk near the elevator so you don't have to walk so far. Whatever is reasonable. It's not building a special elevator for you or something like that, but within the realms of reasonable. And reasonable is a pretty varying term depending on who you're dealing with. So fall proofing exercises, especially for your legs. I like to go to the gym and I like to do a lot of leg presses in the gym. Exercise wise, I don't know if you guys exercise or not. Selena, I don't know if your care patients exercise or not. But,
Yeah, we do a lot of squats.
Okay,
We
squatting,
learn about
leg
how to
presses.
squat because I think that's a
Good.
really good, like that you're talking about that ability to get lower.
Right.
So if you keep working on the squats, you get better and better at getting
Right.
to the low position before you fall.
So are you squatting with weights or just doing standing squats?
Russell does just some squats with weights and some by him, just squatting.
Okay.
But he's
Right, 'cause
progressed. I mean, it's been about a year and a half where he's really
okay.
been working. Yeah.
Another really good, easy one to do is a sit to stand. So you sit in a chair and just stand up and then sit down again and stand up and sit down again. You probably do it when you go to see your neurologist. They time you. It's one of those standard tests that they give you. I know I do it every time I go for PT. Every couple of weeks, they do a sit to stand. How many times you can sit and stand at the same time. And use your arms if you can't. I mean, I can't do it. Well, then use your arms initially. And then, as you get a little stronger, do it. Stepping that we just did, practice those stepping drills, right? That one leg balance is really important for you to just maintain your balance. I find myself when I'm standing in the line waiting for somewhere doing that without even thinking about it. I'll just stand on one leg, I'll do the other leg empty, and then I'll switch because my legs don't fatigue that fast if I do it that way. When you're stepping, you need to step with intention and you need to be deliberate. Those are the things I keep your guard up all the time, no matter where you are. That's an important thing that I see. Be mindful of what's around you all the time. Like I said, you're at the sink and stuff's going on and something happens behind you and you don't realize it. And a great analogy is I don't know if you see the old comedians with the chair gag. They pull the chair out and the person sits down and they fall on the floor. Well, that's if they had looked down to see there was no chair there, that wouldn't have happened, right? So it's just a gag, but it's a good analogy for look before you step, look before you leap, look before you sit, just to make sure in a couple of seconds something behind you could have changed. You don't know. Get your family and your friends and discuss this with them. Enlist their help in doing this. And I'm sure everybody has done that already, but some people don't. And also your neighbors. I was on a cruise and one of the people on the cruise just stopped me and asked me why I'm wearing a brace. And I gave them the 30-second FSHD spiel and they were like, well, thanks. I never realized that. So, they learned something today. So educate your neighbors, educate as many people as you can as to what's going on and why you're doing specific things that you're doing. I was the guy, I always make a joke out of it. I was the guy that used to go one floor on the elevator at work. And everybody would get mad at me because, oh, look at he's the jerk. He's only going one floor. Then I started wearing my brace on the outside and everybody's attitude changed all of a sudden, right? Now they got it, why I was always going one floor, right? So it's just a matter of doing those types of things. So that's all I have on that. Anybody have any stories that they want to share? I'll open up the floor for some sharing. We have like 10 minutes left, so feel free to unmic and talk, or if you have a question, I'll turn the floor over to you guys.
Yeah.
Everybody's good?
No, I have a question.
Oh, sure, go ahead. me-
I have a problem with walking the stairs. A really, really big problem. And sometimes you have these steep staircases. So I don't, and my biggest problem is when I'm with other people and I talk to them and then I'm distracted and so on. So I just do that all by myself. I say, you go ahead, I'm going to follow you. And another thing is, because it happened to me once on the top of a steep staircase that I lost my balance. And then I had to make a real quick decision. Are you going to fall up the stairs or down? And then I decided to fall up the stairs. And that's what I do. Whenever I take a stair, I always say, okay, maybe I will fall, but if I fall, I will fall up the stairs.
Right. So you said you use walking sticks? Did I hear that right?
I have one walking stick, yeah.
One, okay. All right. Yeah, we had a
one
whole
is
big
a hold to the
conversation.
rail, but there was a stair here at the train station, and there were no handrails. This
Right.
is a very wide staircase. I was just walking up the stairs, and at the end of that staircase, I couldn't. I lost my balance, so I just had to.
Right.
I'm going to fall
Yeah.
in front, or going to fall back down.
Right.
So I made that.
And you
real
want to
quick
go up on all fours sometimes. I find
and
that
then I
easier.
went up on all fours. I mean, it looked ridiculous, but immediately people were there to help me, and they were really nice, and it was a cool situation.
Right.
But that's something I find very worthwhile thinking of, in case something does happen. What will you do? You know, and then I walk up the stairs and I always kind of push myself up, and then if I fall, well, at least I'm going to try to fall up the stairs. You know?
Yeah. And at least if there's no railing, you stay close to the wall. Right. So
there were
that
no
way you
walls.
can-
It was like a free, like
Ooh.
really wide
Yeah.
staircase. Really
that would
wide.
make it really tough. Yeah. Yeah, I was in somewhere, one of these old castles, and there was this, like, there were ramps, there weren't any steps, but the ramps were steep, and they were almost as bad, they were actually worse than stairs, because you had
Yeah,
nowhere to rest. You
hurts.
were always standing on an angle.
It hurts. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you want to do the exercises one more time? Review
Sure.
those real quick?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, I'm going to do it later on because I just came from
Okay.
PT.
All right. I'm just going to
But I
review
will
them real quick and
watch
then
for
we'll
it
call it a day.
on YouTube.
Let me fix my, hi Bentley.
Oh, there's the dog.
Yeah, that's Bentley. Yeah, I'm not talking, they're not little dogs in this house. Okay, so like we said, we stand straight, feet together, shift the weight. One leg is empty. We can hold that. Push the other leg into the floor, push the other foot into the floor. And then we bring that down. And our weight goes back to 50-50. Other side, left side weight, right side is empty. Toes up. We hold that for a little bit. Switch back. Sink. And we step up. We step out. Come back. Step up. Step in. Up. Step out. Put the weight on the front. Bend the front knee. Weight's in the front. Now bring the back foot up. Now the weight, we just shifted the weight from one leg to the other. So just that one again is a little different. So right leg is full, left leg is empty. Step forward. Shift the weight into the left leg. Now the right leg is empty, and we bring that forward. All right, so that's kind of a two-step drill there. All right. Well, those are the things to practice. To do that. Just the idea is to keep your weight down in your knee or lower, and that'll be very safe. All right. Anybody have anything else?
Thank you, Frank. I really enjoyed catching you for one of these.
Oh, I'm glad you were able to
I
join.
usually play tennis on Thursdays, but I've hurt my foot.
Oh,
So
hopefully you didn't
I
fall.
thought, no, I didn't fall. I've got some plantar fasciitis that has come up, and It's I
Okay. Well-
gotta stay off it. But I just thought I wanted to join you for a while. I know you make a big impact. So thank you so much
Yeah,
for your insights.
thanks. Good seeing you. Will you
Okay.
be in Chicago this year?
I will see you. I will be
Okay.
in Chicago this year. Yeah.
Well, all right. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Okay,
Thank
Clinton,
you.
thank you for joining. Tina, Tarif,
Well, thank you,
you
Frank.
guys.
You have a
And
good day.
we'll be back online in 2 weeks. I'm not here. I think we're doing yoga, and I'm going to do a follow-up session to this, the first session in October. So
Great.
I'm
Great.
actually going to a Qigong conference at the end of the month. So I'll have some new exercises to show you guys.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Great. Thanks for joining.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you soon. Be
Thank you
well.
so
Bye.
much. Take care, huh?
Bye.
Bye-bye.